said, Roberto Dili Plaza said he sees 6 to 8 impacts on bodies from the film. He probably did at that time that he got those images. They probably were still like the surveyors that said they saw blobs coming out the back of their head. They probably got a version of frames which still showed that. Eventually this became such a mess, the actual early shots were removed altogether. You have to infer them from, you know, someone's cheeks puffing out, or, you know, dropped his arm a millimetre or something like that. Whereas apparently from the other films, it's graphic. You see it. You see blood. You don't just see a head spray that disappears and nothing lands on the limousine, nothing lands on Connolly, nothing lands on the windows, nothing lands anywhere. All this debris that went somewhere didn't go anywhere in the Zapruder film. Just went into thin air, disappeared. There's now just a single headshot and compromises are going on. I think this little forward motion, 312 to 313, was put in. I liked reading the story. I hadn't read it anywhere else about Dick Feynman.
Richard Feynman, yeah. Right.
Yeah, Richard Feynman.
You know much better than I do.
Yeah, well, you wrote it.
He was Richard, Mr. Dr. Feynman to me.
Dr. Feynman, yeah. Well,
Richard Feynman, I love it.
Yeah, I didn't. I never met him, but yeah, Richard Feynman. I mean, I've read just about everything he's written. Richard Feynman, famous Nobel Prize-winning physicist. He never mentions, in all his books, he talks about just about everything to do with his life, never mentions the assassination at all, yet in David's book, he brought the frames to him and said, look, back and to the left, and Feynman measures it very carefully and says, hang on, he moves forward from 312 to 3.
Feynman was the first person to find,
yeah.
Other than, no, I think Vincent Landry found it alive.
Well,
what year were you dealing with Feynman?
I was dealing with Feynman in 1965, trying to get him to come out with a signed statement in Ramparts magazine that the head snap is forensic evidence that violates the official conclusion of the government.
Then Josiah has a graph of it.
Yeah, and what happens was that I get crestfallen because I have this huge encounter with him. It's a wonderful encounter, but he takes out his little ruler and he finds this subtlety.
Yeah.
And the astonishing thing about this subtlety, and I'll discuss this tomorrow, is that subtlety is in the original news story movement by the people that altered the film at 2 minutes after midnight on November 24th. I mean, they know about it, and you can find it in the public record, and Feynman discovers it later.
Well, I have an opinion about this I'm not going to express, but it's fascinating.
Okay.
That is going to be good. So we're moving forward very quickly, more rapidly as we go through, because Jim's winding me up. On to my birthday, about 2 years before I was born. The greatest work of fiction ever published, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, where was I on the day? Well, I wasn't. So, very short story. The middle section of the film at least had to be created in something, maybe the whole thing. Now, whether it got created by February or March, it doesn't really matter. In a matter of months, you can create enough frames to be published, to have slides. You don't have a strip of film, you just need the slides. It's a very good point that Jim made. Other frames outside that one that were published in Volume 18, on an as-needed basis. You just create those splices, you damage some frames, you splice them together with a really bad heat splice. You switch 2 frames just after the headshot. That's just red herrings. So you've got people like David and Harold Weisberg and so on screaming, what's this splice? They damaged the film, they left it. Right, so I think it's a red herring.
You think that's
Oh, that's a red herring, yeah.
Well, I just
That's what a splice is supposed to look like.
I issued a memo on NCC9. I called them decoy splices.
That's exactly right.
It's a decoy splices because I could figure out no other explanation.
Right.
But I still wonder if that's. I still wonder if that's the case.
That's the whole explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
If you create the whole film from scratch, why do you bother going to damage it? You don't. I mean, they didn't even have a piece of film probably until the late 60s. They had individual slides.
Until the late 60s? The film was projected to the Warren Commission the most time.
No, I'm saying you printed frames, individual frames.
Did they have slides every single frame?
Yes, the slides were, every single?
From 1 to 486?
He's talking about creating a continuous running motion picture strip of film as opposed to printing the slides.
But when did they have from frame 1 to frame 486?
As frames or as a motion picture film?
As either. When did anyone say the whole lot?
The weekend of the assassination is given to...
No, that was the different...
You're saying that was an ad hoc job, David.
When did
what was
first...
printed in the report was individual frames they selected, and later they realized, oh my God, we got to put this together to have
motion picture film was projected repeatedly to the commission and to Eisenberg, and those guys studied it. And Hume,
it's the same film. But when when was a full set of slides of every single frame in the film?
The slides
created?
the slides of Commission Exhibit 885 are given to the Warren Commission in what, February '64?
Yeah, but that's not the whole film. That's just
No,
the
I
middle.
agree, there's a piece at the beginning and a piece at the end. They start at 133 and they go to whatever.
I don't think that's that 133. But anyway, I mean, you create it within 3 months maybe, or you take. I don't know some of the details as to when. Well, mid-60s, maybe early, maybe 63, maybe 64. You create the rest of the film. Actual rolls of film, first day copies, camera original.
And it's not Steven Spielberg. I mean, they had to really work against some deadlines here. To me.
Yeah, but I'm saying some of these deadlines are actually quite relaxed. Yeah. David Healy makes this point to me very often. When do they actually need the whole film as a film? Not just a film to be shown on a projector. What you see on a projector and what you see frame by frame, until you've worked with it for 10, 20, 30 years, you won't notice the difference if they're only slightly different.
I agree.
Right? And so the deadlines might be, these are the maximum deadlines from what I know. You can pull some of these back. If they created the whole film within 1 year, so be it.
But you must be aware that the FBI assistant director is watching the film that weekend.
Oh,
He
yeah.
writes about it in his memoirs. And there's other people, right?
Yeah, but what are they seeing? Are they seeing the exact version we've got?
I don't think they all see the same film, no.
Are they seeing a quickly edited together version, but without the blur being correct and the ghost panels and the sprocket holes and everything? I mean, what do you need to be correct to see it on the first?
When did you see the sprocket holes the first time?
No, you're not going to see the sprocket holes through a projector,
Right,
right?
Yeah.
So when did the sprocket hole area, which is the last bit?
Willis told me when I interviewed him that he witnessed the projection at the Kodak lab of the first, I don't think he knows what's in it, but he witnessed it.
Yeah, but that's not what we have now. So you've got the film, 70s.
Could you go back one slide just to the last slide? We didn't say what it was.
Well, it was just stuff. Well, I think it was allowed to be bootlegged, and Garrison subpoenas an actual film, doesn't he?
Film allowed to be bootlegged.
So by some it was 6
Oh yeah, I bootlegged.
Allowed
it. Yeah, I bootlegged it.
Well, you did. So now I haven't
I
bootlegged.
had 100 copies printed.
You're the one.
Yes. On the Valley Film Lab. I'm sending it in the valley. I'll send it all
Oh, there's
over.
Gary Mack just coming in the door.
With a subpoena, with his arrest warrant.
70s, look, I don't know what the story is with Grodin, whether he was used as someone dangled.
I'll tell you the whole story tomorrow.
Good. Other films and photographs discovered. I mean, Life has another issue which David doesn't have here, where they discovered a whole lot of film images. Willis Betzner, not published till about 67.
That's right.
Right after Weisberg published his book saying, where are these other photos? They come out with these other photos. I mean, 3 or 4 years, not very hard to make some alterations there. Of course, Nixon, much more films I don't touch on, but really good. 70s, so yeah, there he is doing that sort of stuff. Don't make him feel too good. I think the 80s are the wilderness years. I don't think really very much happened because by and large, except for David and maybe some others, I think the Zapruder film was taken to be the Holy Grail. Right? This is the only real evidence we have. Everything else has been, fabricated and fiddled around with. This is the only genuine evidence. And, of course, if it's not, then it's a problem. People wanting to see the area between the sprocket holes, I noticed a lot of calls for that, and to the Zapruder lawyers and so on. We want to see the area between the sprocket holes and all these negotiations going on. So the pressure was going on. 90s, the movie came out, and the whole JFK Act, and the $16 million, and MPI does the final digitisation, the reference copy of the Zapruder film, so we can lock the original up and never take it out of storage ever again. Looked like they gave it to a couple of college students with a Macintosh to just scan that for me, can you? And of course, people started to realise there's something wrong with the film. Jack doing a bit earlier in this.
I take exception to the word why. I just come back up here with my friend John from Minneapolis. There's 300 million people in the country, and we're doing our Lake Wobegon thing.
Growing.
There's 30 of us.
Growing.
That's 1 per 10 million.
Growing.
We're optimistic.
Growing.
I mean among researchers.
Yeah.
I mean among researchers, not among the public. I know.
He means the one he eventually found on jfkresearch.com.
Why
So
do?
people don't, we're up
Not the
against
ones on Lancer and
That's
Nora.
right.
No. Well,
1 per 10 million, right?
well we've got David Lifton and probably Jack in the 70s and 80s. Thanks, thinking you think it's a fake, and he suspects it's a fake. Wider realisation that something's wrong, and then this story is to be continued. Thank you.
I think there's one.
time that he got those images, they probably were still like the surveyors that said they saw blobs coming out the back of the head. They probably got a version of frames which still showed that. Eventually this became such a mess, the actual early shots were removed altogether. And you have to infer them from, you know, someone's cheeks puffing out, or, you know, dropped his arm a millimetre.
Dr. Feynman to me is...
Dr. Feynman, yeah.
Well, Richard Feynman, I love that.
Yeah, I didn't. I never met him, but yeah, Richard Feynman. I mean, I've read just about everything he's written. Richard Feynman, famous Nobel Prize-winning physicist. He never mentions, in all his books, he talks about just about everything to do with his life. Never mentions the assassination at all. Yet in David's book, he brought the fit for view. There's now just a single headshot, and compromises are going on. I think this little forward motion, 312 to 313, was put in. I liked reading the story. I hadn't read it anywhere else about Dick Feynman.
Richard Feynman, yeah. Right.
Yeah, Richard Feynman.
Yeah, you know much better than I did.
Yeah, well, you wrote it.
He was Richard Mr.
Or something like that. Whereas apparently from the other films, it's graphic. You see it. You see blood. You don't just see a head spray that disappears and nothing lands on the limousine, nothing lands on Connolly, nothing lands on the windows, nothing lands anywhere. All this debris that went somewhere didn't go anywhere in the Zapruder film. Just went into thin air.
Yeah.
Said, Roberto Deli Plaza says he sees 6 to 8 impacts on bodies from the film. He probably did at that time.